Alright, I said I was going to take a break, and I did for just a few minutes, but I'm going to jump right back in. I felt like I didn't accomplish a lot. I was playing for a while there, but I didn't accomplish a lot. I screwed up a couple times. So let's try to make some good progress here.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost?
Yeah, let's...
Sounds serious. I'm listening.
Yeah, let's
Julia.
have him just do all this.
All right, I can do that. Poor guy.
Save
My
Rufius.
uncle was a victim at rheumatism's altar, and he ended up killing himself. All right, got it. All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine.
Okay, this is the one I'm curious about. Ulpius. Ulpius is about to throw himself off the great temple balcony. Tell him Ulia will be fine and give him this purse of 2,000 denarii to pay off their debts.
How did you...
Gosh.
Of course.
So I do have to
Make
do
sure
that
this
each
gets to-
time. Alright.
I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
And the next thing I'm going to test really quick is if we can get our gold back really quickly.
Fetch again with incessant labor the water they have lost.
And before I actually do that, let me talk to this lady, because I need to
Just as the ocean
figure out her
accepts
situation
the rivers
too.
of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about the pattern you saw?
You think you wish to know, but you do not. It is better for you if you remain ignorant. Pandora's box must stay closed. I'll say no more. The
Right.
newly arrived are...
She's not going to be of much help. Alright, okay, so let's test this gold situation. So, we know there's a chest up here which has quite a bit of gold. So, oop, wrong bow. Looking for the golden bow. Nope. There we go. Alright. And we'll head up here. Oh. Full chest. Yes. And that will replenish our gold by at least half. So that's good. Good to know. That.
How'd you do?
Ooh. That's... The statue's moving its head around.
A golden bow.
That
just
is
like Apollo
creepy.
and Diana.
You've been suffering from rheumatism. Sorry to hear about that, friend.
What? My condition is
creepy.
nobody's business but mine.
There's no need for that. I just wanted to give you this willow bark to help you treat it.
A treatment? Really?
Alright. Who can I talk to?
Greetings and salutations. Greetings. I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I.
I know you want to know where I'm from, but I really want to ask you some
My
questions.
friend, your words intrigue me more and more. But yes, very well. Ask me what you will. I hope that
Okay,
our
so
paths cross again
we've done
soon.
everything with him. It's this guy over here who we haven't really spoken to yet, so let's talk to him. Virgil.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. I'm glad you arrived when you did.
What's your story?
Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. help out with repairs, and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. That kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Tell me about the city's history.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure. It could mean that the Romans, who first started building here, were just copying Greek architecture, which they do all the time. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
Tell me about the architecture.
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm.
If they bring water into the city, could we use them to escape?
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
Tell me about the temple up on the bluff.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know.
I want to go inside.
Of course.
Do you know a way out?
You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I'd tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the Golden Rule, but once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway.
What do you mean?
Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Novio Magus, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Some people say it's divine, the work of a god, but I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me. Like it's distinctly human. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you'll notice people doing things that just seem so wrong to you. But this so-called god doesn't seem to care, which means one of two things. Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't. And I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you?
I think so.
Good. Then I hope you'll agree that there are only two ways of dealing with unfair rulers. The first is to leave. The second is to remove the ruler from power. And it seems leaving may not be an option.
How do you remove a god from power? I hear you.
I'm glad. It's best if I say no more, but I hope you give it some thought.
Notice the graffiti. Why does someone think you're a sinner?
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
You like men?
Hey, nothing gets by you, huh? Sorry, that was mean. Yes, I like men. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
I'm sorry to hear
Nice
that.
of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least, I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
Do you know who's doing this?
It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cultists?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
Let me look into this for you.
What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are.
Is he
Or
talking about the
maybe ask
Christian?
around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
I'll get right on
Come
it.
back and let me know what you find.
Hold on, Virgil. I wasn't done with you.
Any news about my...
I'm still
that's
looking.
all right. I'm sure it'll take time.
Who are you gonna vote
Well,
for?
Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision.
Anything I can do to change that?
My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking. Nice to talk to you.
Alright. Well, I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but let's talk to Georgius about this.
Hello again, my sartorial friend. What is on your mind?
Any idea who's threatening
This
Virgil?
is troubling, is it not? I'm afraid I have no idea. It is ridiculous though. Virgil is a fine man. But my young friend Fabia confided in me that she saw someone leaving graffiti on his shop front last night. Perhaps you should ask her about it.
Alright.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Fabia. Who's Fabia? Is that this lady?
Shiny. Salve and welcome. Need something?
What's your story?
There's not much to tell. I mostly just bake bread and try to help out where I can.
How did you end up here?
I suppose it all started about 8 months ago. I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick. Terrible timing. My pa had just arranged a husband for me. A fisherman's son. I was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked. In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's all. Most of the others were in Rome before they woke up in the forest, but you're saying you were a day's ride away. Huh, yeah, let's go with that.
Oh yeah, I suppose you're right. Hadn't really thought about it. But the gods are mysterious and powerful. Who knows what their plans are for us?
Do you know a way out of here?
What? You've been here a few moments and you're desperate to get out already? Why not give the place a chance before you try to leave? Good people here. Galerius works hard on the farm so I can put food on our tables. And Lucretia tries to keep us healthy. My friend Georgius is always mending our clothes. And Virgil makes sure these old walls don't fall down around us. Well, he does his best. I'm just saying, there are worse places you could live out your days.
I don't belong here.
Well, I can tell from your funny accent you're not from around here, but that doesn't mean you don't belong, does it?
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Oh, I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we?
I like your optimism. Have you met people? I like your optimism.
Thanks. And I like your teeth. They're so white. And your clothes. Oh, I bet my friend Georgius would like to get a look at you. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the Golden Rule with you too. He'll be just across the forum in his shop.
Any idea who's threatening Virgil?
Terrible shame, that is. Maybe this'll help. Late last night, I was cleaning my oven when I heard some noises outside. The forum's usually dead quiet at that hour, so I came out to see what was going on. To be honest, I thought maybe poor old Dooley had got out of his cell and was snooping around again. So I put my head out and saw someone in front of Virgil's shop. I couldn't tell who, it was too dark. I called out to them, but they just turned and ran off without a word. All I remember is they ran past a lit torch and the light glinted off something metallic. Armour, I think. So I suppose it could only be one of three people. Horatius, Domitius or Rufius. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that helps.
All right. Thanks again for taking care of our problem. I won't forget it.
Recipe for bread? Okay. Alright.
Shiny.
Welcome.
Okay.
Citizen,
We gotta go talk to these guys.
and Rufius. Better watch your step.
Are you the one threatening
No
Virgil?
idea what you're talking about?
Fair enough. Oh.
See you around.
Alright.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
I don't think it was this guy.
How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not? Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day.
Are you the one threatening
Do I
Virgil?
seem like anonymous threats are my style?
Yeah, fair enough.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Yeah, probably not him. Alright, Horatius.
What is it, citizen?
Oh, can we talk about
What
Scintilla?
business is that of yours?
I'm looking for
A
her.
lot of people have been looking for her. But it's been 3 weeks, and we've found nothing. What makes you think you can do better?
Sometimes fresh eyes helps. It sounds like you don't want me looking for her. Let's do fresh eyes.
I suppose that's true.
Did you notice anything suspicious before she went missing?
Scintilla was always a kind, well-behaved young woman. I admit, her disappearance really caught me off guard. If anyone knows something, I'd expect it to be Sentia, Malleolus, Claudia, or Domitius. But none of them will tell me anything. You might fare better though, I suppose. fine.
Okay. Are you the one threatening Virgil?
What? Absolutely not. I know someone's been threatening him, and I'm not happy about it. But I can assure you, it isn't me.
Fair enough.
All right. Please keep an eye out for anything that might lead us to Scintilla.
I got 3 different waypoints here.
Don't
What?
believe a word they tell you.
What? Am I supposed to be looking for something? Okay, stone carving. A phallic charm thought by the Romans to have divine protective properties. Is that a penis? Nope. Incomplete note. This was your final warning, sinner. Well, this'll do it. It's Rufius. That's who's doing it. We figured it out. Where is he? Oh, he's all the way up there. All right, let's go get him.
You again.
Are you the one threatening Virgil?
Talking about?
I know it's you. I found an incomplete letter to him in your quarters.
Look, I haven't been at my best lately. I know that. It's the rheumatism. It starts with constant pain in all your joints. Then the pain starts to mess with your head. Makes you angry, mean. I know that's not an excuse for how I acted. But it's the truth. But with the willow bark, I'm already starting to feel like myself again. I'll leave him alone from now on. It's not as if I was ever going to hurt him anyway. I was just lashing out. I'm going to go and clean up the graffiti. Just forget this ever happened. Will you?
All right. Well, that was easy. A little bit of a fetch quest, really. Whoop. Where's my Virgil guy? There you are.
Any news about my secret admirer?
It's Rufius. I found an incomplete letter to you in his
Went
house.
snooping in his place? That was risky. We're lucky you didn't cross any lines. Have you spoken to him about it?
Yes, and he won't be bothering you anymore.
How did you manage that?
I found a treatment for his rheumatism, which was making him agitated and compounding some other personal issues.
Poor fellow. I've heard that can really mess with a person's head. Well done for figuring that out.
Happy to help. I think he wants to help clean up his graffiti too.
Really? That's promising. I'll keep an eye out for him.
Who are you gonna vote for?
Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And my nice to talk to you.
What did that do though? Like, that was just a fetch quest, but nothing really there. The many shall suffer from the sins of one. Yeah, we've heard that line. plenty of times. Who's this? Oh. Alright, well, we gotta talk to the priestess, Aquisha.
A new face, Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Do you know way out of
I
here?
don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
What do you think about the Golden
I'm
Rule?
quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
Sure.
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all, until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic. Realizing only a select few possess such powers, says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, "You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish." So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
That was a good little story there. Or perhaps it's that the gods might kill you at any moment for failing their tests. They don't even have to tell you what the rules are. I'll just say I agree.
I'm pleased to hear it.
What's the status of the election?
It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask?
I'd like to nominate Galerius.
I like the idea, but I know Galerius well, and his position has always been that he won't run unless Malleolus withdraws. It was only yesterday that he said to me he'd only ever run if it was absolutely necessary to make sure Sentius wasn't re-elected. So, I suppose if you'd like to see Galerius elected magistrate, you'd need to persuade Malleolus to withdraw somehow.
Who's allowed to
All
vote?
of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend, unless they're running, of course.
Just the males? Can I vote then?
Well, you're not a citizen yet, so no, I'm afraid not. But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election.
Such as?
Using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course.
What's your role in the
I'm
election?
responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
Can I nominate another candidate?
Can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination.
Can we start the election now?
As I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk. But I suppose I could hold it good reason.
I just want to get over and done with. Holding it early may prevent conflict between the voters.
Yes. I have overheard some rather unpleasant arguments. The last thing we need here is additional conflict. Very well. I'll get things started right away.
Oh.
Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
Election started.
Well, this is interesting. So I didn't really want to go down this path. Actually, you know, I gotta say, most of the things I've done so far in this game, I haven't intended to do. It just sort of happens. And it's just like one thing leads to the next. So guess they're gonna vote. I haven't really done what I needed to do yet, though. Well, let's see what happens. Here's everyone. We need Malleolus. Where is he? It's coming.
Citizens,
There he is.
we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and Marcus Malleolus Gurges. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius,
Sendius.
Dacius,
Malleolus.
Galerius,
I abstain. I'm just here to observe.
Virgil,
Malleolus.
Ulpius,
Sentius.
Rufius,
Malleolus.
and finally, Domitius.
Malleolus. Who else?
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Marcus Malleolus Gurges.
Hail, Magistrate Malleolus. I said, hail, Magistrate Malleolus. That's more like it.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. No more shall you walk on eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe, because the tyrant Sentius told you it was forbidden. For my first act as magistrate, I hereby announce a day of celebration to mark the end of an era. The myth of the Golden Rule is no more.
The Golden Rule is real, you idiot.
For his attempt to deceive us all, Sentius is hereby found guilty of treason against the Empire.
What? I have committed no crimes. This is madness.
His sentence: to fight for his life in gladiatorial combat against Domitius. Here and now for your entertainment.
You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to get us all killed.
Wait, I exercise my right as a Vestal priestess to pardon him. I will not allow you to do this.
You're showing your true colors now, priestess. Your corruption sickens me. Domitius, ignore her. Proceed.
This is insanity. You'll doom us all.
Lie lies. It is time the Golden Rule was exposed for what it is, a children's fable, exploited by a treacherous leader to instill fear in all of us.
This is why he's in his gladiator gear. They've been planning this all along.
Shut up, all of you. The magistrate has spoken. I'm going to enjoy killing you, old man.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Alright. Well, that's good information to have. If Malleolus wins the election, it's over almost immediately. Alright. Yeah, I will break here. I think the takeaway from that scene right there is that we need the guy... Oh, what's his face? The guy with rheumatism. We have to talk to him before we start the election so we can flip his vote. Would that... Yeah, that should turn it in favor so that Sentius is re-elected. So I'll remember that for next time. Save. And I will pick this up next time.